food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome to the House of Ghouls Horror Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Ian Van Gool, joined as always with my best friend, Colby. Now, we have a very special guest here today. If you guys have not seen the movie, Name the Demon, I'm telling you, go check it out right now. You can find it on Tubi. You can find it on Prime Video. Go check it out, because today we are talking to one of the stars of Name the Demon, and that's Danny Bohnen. Danny, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we always like to kind of kick it off with some fun horror questions. So we were talking a little bit before we started recording here, and you're obviously a horror fan. So give us a few of your favorite horror films of all time.
Oh man. Well, it's a go-to, but my favorite franchise is Evil Dead by far.
Oh yes.
Same.
Yeah, and it's like such everyone's answer, I feel like, because I feel like Evil Dead is the franchise that everyone can agree on. You know, there's all these back and forths about Michael Myers versus Jason and Freddy Krueger, but everyone's like, Evil Dead's solid. You know,
What's your favorite Evil Dead?
so I get technical here. If I were to choose one just complete movie, it would probably be the original. Although 2013 is like right there.
2013 is mine.
Yeah. But I would say my like favorite part of the Evil Dead franchise is when he's alone, like the first half or three quarters of Evil Dead 2. I like before he gets too goofy with Jake and everyone else. I love it, all that crazy shit when he's alone. But 2013 probably is the best movie out of all of them. But nostalgia is pulling me towards the first one, you know.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's my favorite franchise. And yeah, when it comes down to it, I always say the very first movie, but 2013 took that and just like ramped it up, made it.
Oh, it was so good. It was just like, it was so satisfying. You never know what you're going to get when you go to like a rehashing of an old franchise, you know, and it was so good. I loved it.
So what's a more like a hidden gem, more kind of underrated horror film that you're a fan of that you feel needs more exposure?
Well, we're talking about a film I just did that is in the subgenre of found footage, which is actually my favorite horror subgenre. And so I got to give love to Taking of Deborah Logan. I guess it is big in the horror community, but once you step like two steps out of the horror community, no one's ever freaking heard of it, you know? And I just think it deserves I think it is, if not one of the best found footage movies created.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a Terror Films one too.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. And yeah, it's great, man. There's a lot of other good ones, but I always got to plug it.
Personally, found footage is also my favorite subgenre, so I respect that. My favorite found footage movie of all time, though, is Hell House LLC.
I love it. I love me some Hell House LLC too. I recently just watched all of them again because it had been a little while. So, and I did another podcast where it was like a horror movie bracket thing, you know, and it was just all found footage. And so I wanted to re-up on the Hell House. Unfortunately, the one that got randomly chosen for the bracket was Hell House 2, which I think is the worst one. Yeah. So that one it didn't win out, you know, because it's not too bad, but it's my least favorite one, you know. Number 1 is strong, 3 is pretty good, and then the Carmichael Manor one's solid too. So
it's arguably better than the first.
I would agree with you on that. I think the first is because it's the first, and there wasn't a whole lot of content around. I mean, there was, but there wasn't when it came out, you know. And now that there's tons more found footage content, I think the Carmichael Manor one holds a little stronger.
I just think the characters are overall better in the first, which pushes it over for me. But I think like production wise and scares, I think Carmichael Manor is a little better.
Yeah, I thought with the second, and some of this bleeds into the third, but with the second they got too far away from the found footage with the newscast stuff and everything. And a lot of that, I don't know. It wasn't too bad, but I was like,
yeah. I think they're okay films. I just like the lore they bring to the like Abaddon Hotel. But no, we interviewed Stephen Cognetti for like one of our first guests we had on here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I'd be cool to have a chat with him. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was sort of out of the blue. They just it blew up into all these sequels, you know. Oh, nice. Look at
I
that.
got the whole collection.
I saw that pop up. That's new, right? The box set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that posted about like recently, and I'm like, I might have to pick that up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Umbrella sent it to me so I can do like an unboxing video and shit for him.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's
It's
nice.
so
The
fucking nice. It comes
perks.
with so many cool shit.
You can go tour the Abaddon, right?
Hmm.
That's I've seen that. Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Stephen Cognetti was talking about having like a big like what was like a meet and greet there eventually with all the actors and shit.
Okay,
Yeah, if possible, yeah.
that's
Mm.
nice. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Ian's fucking pretty close to it, so
Yeah,
Yeah, is it in New York like they say in the movie? Like in the movie? Is it?
it's in Pennsylvania.
It is. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But it's on the whole other side of the state than where I'm at. But
I'll
Well, you're
fly out
closer
and
than
make a
us.
road trip.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the closest to the three of us. So
Yeah.
let's get into Name the Demon. So Name the Demon's found footage, kind of single take format. Um, so I guess we'll start at the beginning. So how did Name the Demon come about?
It's a funny story. So Carmelo and I and my brother Scotty, who plays Father Lucas in the film, and Carmelo's the director, writer, director, co-writer, co-director, I guess, technically. We have made another film together called Sin Eater that was a little bit. It wasn't found footage, but still pretty low budget. And we had got done with that, and we actually met through we were talking about this before we started recording, but a podcast that we are all a part of. My brother and I started this horror podcast a long time ago. Carmelo was a listener at first, and then became a host of it. And then we're like, my brother and I had made a film before that and wanted to make another one, but didn't know very many writers. And so he's like, I got a couple scripts. And so we made a film together. And whenever we get together, we're in Colorado, he's in Chicago. But whenever we get together, we spend just large amounts of time smoking cigars and drinking whiskey while in a hot tub. And so we call it the hot tub time machine, because we'll just be in there and all of a sudden 4 hours have gone by. But so it was one of those times. I forgot why he was in town. It might have been surrounding like a private premiere we had for that first film we made, Sin Eater. And yeah, we were just sitting around, and my brother and I have been a part of and helped produce and acted in a couple like much larger budget projects. Sorry, not in the horror genre. And we're sort of on that trajectory, but then we're like, we'd like to pull back and like do something all ourselves again. And I remember saying the words, and found footage. Once again, we talked about this, my favorite subgenre. I was like, I'd do another found footage film if we just did a found footage possession film. Like that'd be fun. And that was the end of that. And sure enough, like he flew home, and like 3 days later, he sent me this outline for a script and was like, let's do it. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And so him and his brother wrote it. We were gonna maybe do it in Colorado again, just because that's where we did the last film. And we were thinking of locations. And my brother and I both, our homes are sort of newer and doesn't have as much character. And he was like, why don't we just do it at my house? He lives in this, a house built in the probably 1910 in Chicago, and great character. It's got the 3 levels with a basement, and so yeah, and it was nice too because then he was able to do a ton of pre-production work. Him and his brother actually like blocked the whole thing well ahead of time and rehearsed the camera moves like extensively. We did have a shot list and stuff, and technically our DP Jason Potter, who is also in the film because he has to be, but he's an actor as well. He was in our last 2 films, but he was able to come out and do some rehearsing too, So yeah, it just came together as like this project between friends. All of us had done a film before. The only new coming additions to this film were the amazing Joe Castro that did the effects for us, the practical effects. And we did hire the young girl Isabel who is in the film. Uh, and then a couple producers that were new on this one, and Carmelo's brother, the co-writer, co-director. But yeah, man, it all came together with like just a conversation in the hot tub, and we're like, let's do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All started with a hot tub.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where did the idea for like a single shot film come from?
I think it was sort of built into Carmelo's initial script and idea. It was because I don't remember ever there being a version without it being a single shot. He was very specific. Like he wanted to. I left all the story elements up to him, right? Like that was literally what I told him. I said, "Look, we should do a found footage possession movie. That's really scary." And I did mention I was like, I want like a couple of these visuals would be really cool. Like the floating feet would be a really cool. That has to be somewhere in the movie. It'd be a cool visual. I was picturing it. My brother's like he has a little second story like indoor balcony area. I was picturing it there. So I was like, we got to do something like that. And I think that was the only visual, but he wanted to make sure there was a really good reason that they were recording. It sort of gets glazed over in the movie itself, but he's a lawyer, Carmelo's a lawyer, and there is this thing called the business record exception where if you do something regularly enough times, that can be sort of admitted into court as evidence. Like it's part of what you do every time without fail. And so they record these exorcisms every time without fail. So that if they ever get sued or anything, the video can be used as like evidence that we were all doing our jobs, you know? And so that was important. And then the second thing was that how did this movie get put together? Like that's the other thing with found footage, right? It's like, who edited this footage? Like we understand that it's found, but who like edited it together to make this movie, you know? And so with this, there really no one edited it. It's just the camera was just on until it died. Which yes, it was a very shitty battery on the camera. Maybe it was an older camera, but that was important to have. So those two elements were covered. Like this is why we're recording, and this is that it wasn't edited together. Like it was just this is how it was, you know.
I love that you guys had the battery life like on screen the whole time too.
That is a shout out to our producer Jason Chihuahua, who totally came up with that. And that was later in the game. Like we hadn't started filming yet or anything, but the script was pretty much finalized, and we were getting, or maybe you know what? Actually, I think we had filmed, and it was in post, and we were like adding all the camera stuff to the screen. And he was like, we got to have this battery indicator that drives more urgency and just has adds more tension, you know? And that's like one of the single biggest comments we've had is, I love the battery indicator going down. So I mean, it lets you know, like this movie's almost over. Like if you hate it, it'll be over soon. Don't worry.
How was the reaction at all the premieres?
We had really good feedback, and that was something that we didn't know what to expect. I told you guys we had filmed it quite a while ago, a few years, and it'll be 3 years this coming February, and January, February. We were real lazy since it was our very own project, all of just us, little tight circle. No one was like paying for it or waiting for it. You know, we took our time with the editing, and Jason Potter, who's in it and did the camera, also did all the editing as well and all the sound design. And so, yeah, you know, it took him, because it wasn't his first priority the whole time. It probably took him close to a year of him and then us going back and forth till it was like, all right, like it's done, you know? And then, yeah, there were talks of like, you know, bundling we were trying to get a little bit higher distribution, and that didn't quite happen. So, so it had been such a long time ago that finally we're like, let's just get it out there. Let's release it. And when you're a part of it at every stage of creation, and you see all these versions of it, by the time it's done, it's hard to know, like myself, if it's any good or not. You know, it's like, is this movie even any good? And that's sort of the attitude, not the attitude, but like the space we were in as we were releasing. It's like, I don't know if it's, but we just got to release it because we made it, you know. And the initial reactions we started getting were very positive. And we were a little bit surprised, not like super surprised. Like we didn't think we made a garbage movie, but we're just sort of like, oh, like people, they're digging it, you know. And so yeah, it was mainly when we started sending it off to film festivals. We did a total, I think, of 11 or 12 film festivals. It was in, we only attended a couple. Um, and yeah, we were getting like a lot of good feedback on the screeners. It was getting accepted to a lot of festivals. And then the ones we attended, we did a Q&A, and there was great feedback. You know, those showings aren't generally huge. There might be 30, 40, 50 people there. But yeah, I mean, we had really awesome, engaging questions, and you could tell that people were interested in the film. And then since release, yeah, we have a lot of haters too, but you know, we have a lot of positive feedback as well. And what I like the most is that people are just wanting to watch it either way, you know. And we've released, like, my brother and I, without Carmelo, and we did a found footage film years ago and sort of just released it under the radar, and it was just never a thing, you know. Like some people will say, give us a nice comment every now and then or this or that, but it was interesting to release this one and get it on, it's on people's radar, like they want to watch it no matter, to get their own opinion of it, you know. So it's been nice. Yeah.
What was the one you and your brother did?
It's called She Walks the Woods. And yeah, it was back in it is on Tubi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Back in like 2018. Yeah, you might have. Yeah, check it out if you
I'm gonna have to watch
check it out if you have some time to kill. It's not, we went up to the Colorado mountains with the camera, an effects crew, and a bullet point list of what we wanted to do. So there was like no script, and but it came out pretty good. It has the found footage curse of like not a whole lot of action until the last 30 minutes, you know?
Yeah. But that's the thing I like about found footage is the build up, and usually it does have like a really cool third act that makes up for everything.
Yeah. Well, you have to let me know if you watch it, what you think of it, because we did have the one thing we spent money on was a practical effects couple to come in, and our creature took like 7 hours getting the makeup every day. And then we didn't like feature her enough. That's how dumb we were. Like, you do see her a few times, and there's sort of the money shot at the end, but it still wasn't enough. And funny thing, Jessie, who plays Anna in Name the Demon, she was in our last film with Carmelo Sin Eater, and then she was in She Walks the Woods as that creature. You don't know who it is because she's just covered in makeup and she's on stilts. Yeah. But yeah, you'll have to check it out.
Did you guys take any certain inspiration from other films for Name the Demon?
Certainly. And again, Carmelo and his brother Nicholas wrote some things with homages in mind, but then some have popped up that were unintentional that people have pointed out. So, I mean, a big influence Carmelo has said for writing this was, of course, The Exorcist. That's just an all-time favorite of all of ours and most every horror fan. And then with the one that comes up that we didn't intentionally do is like an homage to Hell House LLC with the piano. And I hadn't watched Hell House, the original, in so long. Even back when we were writing this and filming it, I think I still hadn't watched Hell House. You know, I saw it when it first came out, and then I didn't watch it again until like a month ago. And
shit.
Yeah, so, or maybe I watched it once. So I've only seen it like 2 or 3 times total, and it just wasn't in any of our minds. And we had this piano thing, and then someone at one of the conventions was like, "Oh, I can see the homages too." And then they listed off some films, and Hell House LLC was one of them. And I was like, "What the hell are they talking about?" And then I watched Hell House LLC, and I was like, "Oh, the piano." I was like, "Duh, it's right there, like at the piano." So yeah, I mean, we definitely took from that.
Did you guys have a practical effects supervisor come on for this one, or did you guys do the effects yourselves?
Yeah, so I mentioned Joe Castro. He was our effects guy, and it was just him. He came in, um, had a bit large kit with him, but he did make some things ahead of time and was super prepared, but is also just ready and willing to do anything on the spot. And if you've never seen him or heard of him, you've probably seen his work. He's been in the industry for like 30 years and done over like 180 some films, and most of them are lower budget, like independent horror films. And I don't know how he's not doing the big things now. Maybe it's by choice. I don't know. Maybe he only likes to work with indie films or something, but because he's really good. But he had made a few things ahead of time and then brought him. He's from LA, so we had to fly him in like these big flight cases full of gear over. So like he made a copy of Jesse's legs that he brought that were all demonized. So when you see, there's a couple shots of the legs floating in the movie. The most obvious one is when the cameraman slips and it like goes past his head, and those are like fake legs that Joe made that look like Jesse, and with a gown over them, and like a broom handle that they're hanging on, and literally this is why we don't know if it's good, because literally in that shot, there's an island in the kitchen and a countertop, and I'm like standing on the counter over here, and my brother's like standing on the island, and we're like passing off these legs with a broom handle to each other, behind the guy laying on the ground.
That's funny as hell.
So it looks great. Honestly.
Yeah, I thought it looked fantastic.
It came out good. And so Joe made those. He made one thing that we completely, and I'm a little bummed out, didn't feature at all, is Jesse like bites a portion of my ear off and spits it at the camera, and you see her spit something at the camera. And that's the end of it. But he actually gave me a prosthetic ear that was half bitten off, and I'm wearing that like for the rest of the film. But we just didn't think to like, it could have been as simple as from that moment we go upstairs and I'm kneeling and talking to my daughter. If I just would have faced the other way, then you would have seen the ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just didn't. We were just in the mode and we didn't even think about it. So, but he did. And then there was some other things where he came in and saved our asses, where Joe did. Like he has that kit with him, and he's like, hey, if you guys want, like, I could add this, or we could do this real quick, or I could add this. And we're not used to that. Our last project we all did together, we had a team that was like very strict, and they would only do what we initially hired them to do, and they wouldn't be willing to add some blood here or do this there, and he was super willing to do all that stuff, and then had to come in clutch for a couple things. Like by the end of this film, the little girl Isabel would not, unfortunately, she was so scared of Jesse, of Anna, that she wouldn't be in the same room as her by the time we were finishing up. And we filmed this whole thing when we filmed it in chronological order. So by the time we got to that last scene, like she just would not enter. She would not go in the same room as Jesse. And we tried to do everything. Like she sat down and they talked as Jesse got her makeup put on. They were like joking and playing. But when it came down to it, she just wouldn't like do it. So we had to, and I've seen complaints about this in comments, but the plan was to like see her die at the end. And and that literal night she was like, I won't go in that room. And we're like, fuck, like she's supposed to like get her neck snapped like right in front of the camera. And so we got her to go in by herself to do the sit-up at the end. But before she sits up, when I get dragged out of the room, my boot like swipes by the camera, and that's a cut right there. And before that cut, it's like these fake legs we made that Joe made out of like cardboard and stuff from the trash can, and put pajama pants over, because Jesse's sitting on the bed at that time. Like she just killed her, and she has a line, she's like pure and something, and she would not be in the same room. So it was these little cardboard legs sitting over there that we had to improvise, So we didn't quite get the money shot we wanted at the end.
What's funny is, like, found footage is my favorite subgenre, but like demonic possession films are my least favorite subgenre.
Oh,
so
really?
I think they're always like the same thing, like recycled But I was like really surprised by this one, and I like even as I was watching it, I was like, this is something different. I'm like really enjoying this one. And then once
Oh,
you
that's
get to
good to hear.
the last 15, 20 minutes, it just goes fucking insane. And I was like, I was not expecting this. Like, this is why I fucking love this movie now.
Nice. Nice. Actually, you know what? Carmelo just texted me that he would hop in if we want
Yeah,
him to.
Absolutely.
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, so those of you that don't know, Carmelo was supposed to be joining us, and now he says he's available to join us. So we might hear from him in the
Fuck
next
yeah.
couple of minutes
That's
here. I'm glad you said that because I watching it over and over again more recently at a couple of these fests and stuff, really like solidified my belief in the ending because again, we were there at every stage. We're like, is this any good? But the more I watched it in its finished form, and especially on larger screens, it does give you that feeling that they like, well, they didn't, I don't know if they survived something, but I guess they did survive, but not in the best shape. But yeah, they've just been through hell by the end of it. It's like everyone looks like hell at the end.
the
So
ending, dude. I thought the ending was so fucking good because how and who the demon ties in with. I thought that was so like I've never seen that in another possession film before. I thought that was super original for me.
that's actually really good timing because Carmelo just jumped on.
What's up, Carmelo?
Can you hear us, Carmelo?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you. You should actually, he was just talking about how he loved the sort of the lore, and that how it all ties in at the end, the Asmodeus and everything. I think you should expand on how you came up with that and where you guys pulled that in from.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite part about all this because that's what makes it real and that's what makes it scary to me. Is that stuff is not of my own invention. That goes back to the 1500s and Binsfield's Guide to Demonology, where he sets up the hierarchy of the kings of hell and each of them being somewhat associated with one of the seven deadly sins. So it's sort of a sub theme in our movies so far that each one is about a different king of hell and about a different one of the seven deadly sins. So that was something that always struck me as very creepy. And the idea that I don't even know where people think they learned all this from. Like, I don't know where this Binsfield just got really high one night and came up with all this stuff or what, but it comes from somewhere and that bothers me.
Yeah. And that's what all that subliminal numbering and imagery in the film is too. It's things that Carmelo and Nick pulled from existing texts on this demon, So
right, exactly.
Carmelo, before you jumped in, Danny was telling, and I heard you already talk about it on the Horror Junkies with Mike about your hot tub time machine.
Yeah. I like to joke that it's the room where it happened. That's where all the magic is made.
There's no funny stuff going on either.
No,
we're
it's
just a
all
bunch
funny
of guys.
stuff. It's exclusively funny stuff. Yeah, no, there's nothing serious about it. It's funny because I almost feel like people who know us want to get invited to the hot tub party. So when are we hot tubbing? And we're like, maybe another time with you.
Yeah. Potter gets in there too.
Yeah, that's what I want to know because you're in Chicago, right?
Right.
Cool. I'm like an hour north in Rockford.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So if you ever want to invite me to a hot tub party or kill me off in your next movie, let me know and I'll be there.
Oh, you heard me promise the horror junkie guy I'd kill him. Yeah, we'll kill you.
Yeah, you gotta kill us together.
A lot of people can get killed.
Yes, we can. I'm happy to kill anyone you'd like. That would be great fun. No, I think that would be fun. Actually, next time we do something in Chicago, we'll invite you down. Next time we do a premiere or something, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
We tell that to every guest that we have on. That's a filmmaker. Is what do I gotta do to get killed?
Yeah, we're just trying to get killed in movies.
Have you been killed yet? Because you might not like it as much if it's very prosthetic heavy. You're just gonna be there a long time waiting around.
I don't care. I just want to be on screen with the most brutal death imaginable.
All right.
So since the movie's out, I can talk spoilers, but this is the second movie in a row I did this to poor Scott Moore, where he had some horrible injury and had to lay on the ground for just hours while we stepped over his body and shot. And you know what? When we did Sin Eater and we did it, he was just covered in blood. He didn't say a word. He didn't mind.
We forgot.
He was there.
We forgot about him. We did. So I did mention Sin Eater and then we talked a little bit about She Walks the Woods, but my stepdad, who I told you, Father Matthews is my stepdad, and he was in our previous film Sin Eater, and yeah, literally, and it was freezing. You remember that? It was like
Yeah,
freezing
it was
down
like he's on the basement
the
floor.
basement had no heat in that building, and he had died and was in a pool of his own blood, and had to be there for like the next couple angles, and so he just stayed there. He didn't want to move. And I think we moved on, and
Yeah.
we were like on a different angle in the same room, but where you didn't see him. And
Right.
it was like another 25 minutes for like, oh fuck, like you can get up now.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Just fully committed.
Yeah, it was great.
So, also before you got on, Carmelo, we always like to ask our guests when we start, what is one of your favorite horror movies? And if you get inspiration from any of them, let us know.
It's too easy to say because it's not just one of my favorite horror movies. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Is The Exorcist. It's like top 5. So if I was going to say something, horror specific to besides that, I mean, it's Evil Dead for me, and I think I'm probably saying the same thing Danny said.
Both of us.
Yeah,
yeah. It's I remember being 17 or 15 or whatever and discovering Evil Dead, hearing about it, and then renting it from the video store and watching it real late at night. And that kind of the atmosphere sticks with you, And so I always wanted that feeling of like you're watching something you're not supposed to be, or you're somehow less safe for having watched it. And that was what we were trying to capture. So to your other question, does it inspire me? That's what I was trying to capture with Name the Demon. That's why I like found footage. It's why I wanted to do something real time and one shot. Was I wanted that moment of like, hey, reality and fiction can blur. And that's why I like using the real lore of those demons, because if you believe any part of that stuff, then it is real, and I think a lot of people believe it, but they don't believe what they believe. They go to
Sure.
church, they pray to God, whatever. But if you ask them, oh, do you believe in demons? If I told you I was possessed, would you believe it? They would explain it away. The devil loves reasonable men.
It doesn't like me then.
I hated Danny's character. I hated him.
Really?
I thought he was such a prick. But
I
like
hope you
towards
didn't
the
like-
end, he started becoming better. But like talking to you like now, you're like you're just such a different person. I'm like, I'm glad he's not that character.
I hope I'm not like, Gladiator ruined Joaquin Phoenix for me for years. I just thought he was an asshole. I was like, what a fucking asshole. I never want to meet him ever. Now, of course, he's this beloved actor, but
yeah, you played an asshole very well.
Well, thanks.
He's got that Jack Torrance thing down that I love.
Yeah.
The tortured father. And, it's something that like we toyed with early on, that like the red herring being that maybe he's beating his wife and she's not possessed and she's just like driven mad. And then I listened to one review of the movie that was like, oh, you suspect everybody's got some reason to think that. And I was like, I didn't even really, I meant for it for him, but I didn't really think about it with some of the other characters. And it's really cool once you're done with something and it takes on a life of its own. I'm like a deconstructionist when it comes to like literary criticism. So now my opinion is just one other opinion. No one gives a shit what I think anymore. I had my chance to tell you what the movie was about when I made it. Now it's about whatever you decide it's about.
We had a couple other people. We had another podcast we were on where they were like, I was wondering if like your character was possessed or if the daughter was possessed. I was like, really?
Yeah. Someone
Okay.
told me they thought the daughter was the demon. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
All right.
Like, you don't always, I'm one person, Danny's one person, but when like a million people watch it, you get a million different, the audience is the last collaborator, they say, right? So like, that's really important.
Yeah. No.
Speaking of the audience, and being a huge fan of The Exorcist, I'm sure you're well aware going into it that when you decide to make a movie about exorcisms and possessions, that you were automatically going to be compared to The Exorcist, no matter the content at all. It just the matter that it's a possession exorcism movie. So did you have that in the back of your mind when you kind of wrote this movie to make it different from that, or did you just not even think about it and just do your own thing?
It's an excellent question. I think when you're in the business of making horror movies, or really when you're in any business, you sort of owe it to yourself and your audience to know what's come before and build on it. It would be very ignorant to try to make a possession movie and not have seen The Exorcist. So definitely aware of it. And I think the way I went about it was because I've heard some reviews say like, oh, this is a fresh take. I've heard other reviews say, oh, there's nothing new here. I tried to bring something new by the genre bending a little bit, by the format, the real timeness, the one continuous shot. That's new, right? And then I think I also took the approach of like, as much as possible, nothing that she does is truly supernatural, with maybe the exception of like the floating. That we tried to keep everything else, like her at one point her eyes bleed, but like that could be like a stroke. So I wanted it to be grounded and real, and I thought that would be somewhat different in the found footage context, certainly. But then the other way to handle it is to just tackle it head on. There are several intentional homages to The Exorcist, like when the priest gets out of the car, or I even put a little Pazuzu statue in the background very briefly in one of the scenes. Pazuzu's in there, and I really got to get rid of that statue because it's brought me nothing but misfortune. And I think it was so important to me to do that because the question I asked at the beginning of this is, what if you didn't have Father Merrin in The Exorcist? What if you didn't have this pillar of faith? And if you ever read the book too, they ram that home. Everybody's full of doubt except Father Merrin. He shows up and he believes and he is resolute. And who will protect us without that, right? So like I wanted you to remember The Exorcist. I wanted you to think about it so that you could feel what was missing, which is the Exorcist himself is not present in this case.
Yeah, honestly, when we were in the early stages of making it, I was like, and I said, "Oh, just make a found footage possession horror movie." I wasn't even caring if it was original. I'm just like, if you do it good enough, I'll watch a found footage possession movie over and over and over. Like, I'll watch a new one every week if it's scary and good. It doesn't have to be original.
Yep.
Like I'll watch, like there's 18 Bigfoot movies. I'll keep watching them just because whatever, you know.
Yep.
Fuck it,
We
dude.
watched some
Bigfoot
dog
movie
shit
next.
movies.
Oh, we talked about how we watch dog shit movies
Yep.
on our
Yeah,
podcast.
And love them many times.
Yeah, a lot of them are good.
Yeah.
What about a Bigfoot exorcism movie?
Ooh,
Oh, genius. See, you
genius.
gotta write that. I'll direct it if you write it.
All right, fair enough.
Start writing.
Yeah.
Does Bigfoot get possessed or does Bigfoot possess somebody else?
Oh, we'll figure that out.
Yeah,
We don't want to
yeah.
give all the details
That's
away.
the question. That's the question.
Well, you talked about the Pazuzu statue, but now you guys should his house. He said that floor is haunted now. That room's haunted.
I blessed it with holy oil. I mean that really happened.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up too. I know, Danny, you had mentioned that that the little girl in the movie was terrified of Jesse, wouldn't be in the same room.
Yeah.
How was the rest of the cast? Because Jesse's performance is terrifying. Like she's probably one of my favorite possessed female characters since Reagan.
Wow.
So how was it working with her, like in those moments?
You want to go first, Carmelo?
Yeah. Oh, I know for my part, Jesse's when you meet her in person, she's one of the most like magnetic and charming people I've ever met. Like she's just fun and quirky and kind and really like witty and sharp. And she's in good spirits for like 90% of this. It's really impressive how she's able to like access those really heightened emotions and turn them on and off. But we definitely pushed her. I think getting like screamed in her face by a little girl over and over again. Isabel Pastori, who plays Grace, was a fantastic actress and a real trooper, all things considered. We should probably have faced some criminal charges for what we did to this girl. But I think having that experience and then being caked in the makeup, I mean, head to toe, right? She's sprayed head to toe because you see everything. And then she has to get washed down in alcohol every night, which is just brutal on your skin.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I did to her was Joe Castro, the special effects wizard, wanted her to have like messed up teeth because he's like, it doesn't make sense for her to look awful and have white teeth. And they always screw that up in possession movies. So he gave me this ink, and at one point I had to do the spraying. He normally did it, but I had to get her once because of the logistics of the shot, and I put way too much fucking ink in her mouth, and she was so mad at me. And she took that energy into the take, and it turned out great. I guess the moral of the story is working with her was a joy, and I'm surprised she lasted as long as she did.
Yeah, we did 7 straight night shoots for this. Not too late. It was like we started, 5 p.m. till midnight or 1 or so. But yeah, she's we have a history. She was in, as I was telling you guys, the last 2 films too, and this one. And my brother and I met her doing we used to be a part of the same acting workshop in Denver that we would go to weekly just to do like scene work and stuff like that. And yeah, it was just like apparent from even years ago doing that like she's a really good actress. It's like wow. And what you just said is like why she is because she can access and flip on and off those emotions with like just the flick of a hat. So yeah, she's in there doing those scenes, and when you call cut, she just sort of like was that like that good? And she just like just totally back to normal. And so yeah, I mean, it's amazing working with her, and it almost is like this fleeting moment where you're like, what the fuck just happened? Because then she's back to normal. You're just talking again. So, but she does have to get pretty intense there a few times, yelling out words she would never yell out in her life. And she herself is not like a fan of horror at all. So she doesn't like watch horror. She does, but yeah, she was a trooper. I always tell Carmelo, he had that goal of making it seem like we're not supposed to be watching this. And there's a couple times where I think there's 2 like longer exorcisms in the film, and they both seem to be a little bit like too long almost. And it's in the middle of those where I'm like, all right, like let's switch away from this already. Like I don't feel like I'm not supposed to be watching this because she's just getting railed on. So yeah, she's awesome, and she's getting a ton of everywhere. She's getting a ton of praise for her performance on this, and she definitely deserved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like right before you came in, Carmelo, I was saying like the last 15, 20 minutes, like it was actually a pretty heavy movie. Like
Thank you.
from the first death of a certain animal in the kitchen. And I was not fucking like as soon as I saw the dog though, I was like, that dog's not making it. But up until
No,
the end, like with
Giorgio
the
was dead from the beginning.
up until the reveal, I was like, holy shit. Like this would and like I get movies all the time sent to me in my inbox and Instagram, so I usually don't have the highest of hopes. So I go in with very low expectations, but this I was blown away. I was like, what? Like I think I texted Ian like right after. I was like, bro, gotta fucking watch this one. I think I texted Mike, I texted everybody. I was like, you need to watch this movie.
We are very proud of the pacing at the end, and
Mm.
we got to hand it to Carmelo because uh the dog hitting the wall was a one take masterpiece of Carmelo baseball pitching the dog against the wall as Potter swiped the camera by. We were like sitting there, and Joe Castro, the effects guy, is like, I built this like slingshot apparatus, and we want to make sure it hits hard, and we could slingshot and he was gonna test like a balloon, but they also put a balloon of blood inside the fake dog, and we're like, man, this is gonna make a huge mess. And Carmelo, Carmelo, I don't think you don't play a lot of sports, right? I mean,
No, I can't stress this enough. This was an uncharacteristic display of athleticism. I'm what you call one of the inside kids, one of the indoor kids when I was growing up. But my brother was a pitcher, and he taught me one thing, and I use that one thing to get it right. It's just you gotta wind up like a scarecrow, and so it's all I knew about pitching. That's it. And no one else wanted to throw it because they're like, well, we don't mess up, like we don't want to be the one to make this big mess. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll do it. And I by some miracle hit it on the first shot.
One shot wonder. And the funny thing was Potter's the cameraman, right? And what was he wearing again?
He was wearing a garbage bag. He looked like Dobby from Harry Potter.
Yeah, because we weren't sure how far and wide blood was going to splatter. And probably the most hilarious part about this shot, what's amazing, it happened in one take and that Carmelo threw that dog, was that for much of this shoot, Carmelo's wife was sleeping in her bedroom upstairs. And that was like the door we never went in the house. Like you never saw that room. It was off limits. You see the door, and we're like arguing at it a couple times, but we never go in that room, and that's because pretty much every night his wife's just sleeping in there, and she did not approve blood being splattered everywhere. She did not approve an overflowing sink. She did not approve a lot of these things, and so it was like blood splatters, dog hits. All right, everyone flip the lights on, and like 8 of us with wet wipes, just like trying to get it, but we could not, like, it was still in the crooks of the thermostat, and it was not coming out.
I had to repaint part of the ceiling.
We're like drying your whole under sink area after
Oh
it
yeah, that was
overflowed.
bad. That was bad. That was really, we flooded the whole kitchen. It was
Yeah.
This might be hands down the best story that we've heard on this podcast.
I'm honored. Wow.
She just sleeping. It was like, when you think about it, it's like an SNL skit. Like, we're just fucking like running around with the effects guy throwing blood, and we're carrying a possessed woman up the stairs while she's trying to sleep in this bedroom over there.
Throwing fake dogs at the fucking wall.
Yeah.
Has she seen the movie? What did she think of the movie?
Oh, she loves it. Yeah, she thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, now it's all cleaned up, so it's like a no harm, no foul, I think, kind of a thing.
Did any of
Yeah.
that get brought up? Was she like, you got blood all over the wall? Did she
Well,
like,
it comes up in the divorce papers from time to time. It comes up in the filings. But other than that, yeah, I think I don't think it's something that she'd ever say yes to again. But now
All
that
right.
it's cleaned up and everything. But for the sequel, we're gonna have to use Danny's house. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see if there's a sequel, or we'll yeah. I don't know, man. I guess a new house could be creepy. That Paranormal Activity did it. Every house they ever used was like a cookie cutter, urban neighborhood.
Yeah, like a
house.
brand new house in those.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
for the one they made recently that has nothing to do with the whole franchise, but
I
Yeah,
didn't
in
finish
fact,
that one.
it was still good. It was good. It just
was
doesn't
good.
tie in at all to like anything.
It was
But-
just a different found footage movie that they slapped the name Paranormal Activity on.
Yeah, it's like the Halloween 3, like what they should have done, like I know me and Carmelo, we really agree with Halloween 3 and like the anthology that it could have been,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe they should have been doing that with Paranormal the whole time, this anthology of found footage movies.
Yeah.
Not to go off on a tangent.
No, it's all good because Halloween 3 is one of the best in the franchise.
Love it.
And I think you need to look no further than how much everyone hates every sequel, and you cannot make anyone happy. You go further into Michael Myers lore. No, that's bullshit. Michael Myers, you shouldn't talk about it. And then all right, fine. Well, he's no one. He's not connected to anyone. He doesn't even have a sister anymore. Then everyone hated those movies too. You just can't make them happy. So just do something different then. Just don't do.
I want to know the love story between him and the guy he shacked up with for a whole summer.
Yeah, in Halloween 5. That's what I want.
Dude, I get scolded when I say one of my favorite Halloweens.
Which
probably
one?
I'm probably going to embarrass Ian right now too.
I'll do it.
You have to,
One
you're good.
of my favorites is Ends.
Oh, okay. I don't mind Ends that bad.
I don't actually. I think I was one of the only like 3 people who liked it. All right.
Really?
You see,
Yeah, I fight to the
Us-
death for Ends.
us hardcore Evil Dead fans don't really give a shit about Halloween, so like we sort of like,
Yeah.
I love that. No, I just felt like Corey was a very relatable character. Like, we're like the Halloween nerds. Yeah, of course we were like outcasts in high school and everything, or outcasts at some point in our life. And I just connected with Corey, and I thought Ends had some of the gnarliest kills in the whole franchise.
it had some good. I mean, even the shocking opener when like the fucking kid he's babysitting dies like that.
That was a great opening scene.
No,
I agree with
That
that.
thud.
That
Yeah.
was so
Oh, man.
badass. Yeah,
I
I
thought
like.
in the way the
remember
body
sitting in the
pops
theater
up.
hearing it, you know?
I like jacked Michael Myers. Lots of people don't like
Oh,
Rob
Tyler Mane.
Zombies. Yeah, I like a jacked, large
I like
Michael
zombies
Myers.
as well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
arguably probably the scariest Michael Myers.
Mm.
Yeah. No.
Carmelo, are you going to be at Days of the Dead next month in Chicago?
I hadn't planned on it, but I certainly could be.
Dude, you should go. Ian's flying out from Pittsburgh to come.
Oh, no kidding. When is it?
It's the November 22nd to the 24th.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. I'll come. If you guys are going to be there too, sure. Yeah. I'll come by. Sounds great.
The whole Terrifier crew is going to be there. Right. The interview we did right before you guys, we interviewed Michael Levy, who's the producer of Terrifier 2 and 3, and then he just directed the new one called Stream.
Oh yeah,
I've
I heard on stream.
heard. I haven't seen anything about it yet, but just heard it being thrown
Stream
around.
rips.
Yeah, it's
Does
a good
it?
one.
Is it out yet?
Yeah. Yeah, it just came out on VOD.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Check it's pretty. Okay, I'll check that out.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, I years ago I guest hosted a podcast interviewing David Howard Thornton right after the first one came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was sort of weird. Now it's come full circle, and I'm so happy for those guys. Like it's blowing up. That's
They're
awesome.
some of the most genuine people too.
Yeah, I mean it gives hope for like us filmmakers too. Honestly,
Mhm.
it's like maybe we could create like something like that.
Like where Damien started with All Hallows Eve and
Mm.
where he's at now is fucking insane.
It's crazy.
And I love the fact because like huge like studios um approached him for Terrifier 3, but
Oh,
they were
really?
gonna fucking censor everything. So
Oh,
he's still stuck with Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting. He's like, nah, we're doing what we want. We're still gonna make what we want, and they still got the budget they wanted.
that's awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I think
awesome.
that's creative integrity is so important because that's what
Mhm.
made Terrifier, hit so big is and it's and I say this with respect because it's not my genre of horror. I don't typically gravitate toward like the gore and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean to a point I do. Terrifier is like on another level. But that's what set it apart was like the most extreme gore, right?
Yeah.
So if you sanitize that and you take that away, it's not Terrifier anymore. It might be more widely commercially appealable. The softies like me might go see it, and you might have a wider audience. But then it wouldn't be the thing that made it special in the first place.
Right.
I wouldn't think it's as cool because I am a gore freak.
Right, exactly. Danny and I talk about how the last, 10, 20 years of horror movies have really been characterized by the movie Sinister. And every
Hmm.
movie since Sinister has been a version of that and increasingly less good. Some were great. The Conjuring was great. But then you end up with a bunch of mediocre ones like, say, like Night Swim, which I saw one was fine, or like that Imaginary, which I did not even bother to see, and I heard was as cookie cutter as it got. And that's
Yeah.
because like that's what Hollywood, that's what capitalism does, right? Is you get a product, you just let's just keep copying the product.
Yeah.
And then with every iteration, then it's less cool. The thing that made it hit, it doesn't matter anymore. So
It's always like something's happening. I don't believe it at first. Now I believe it. Now I got to research it on the internet.
yep.
Now there's
It's
these old
connected to my
articles.
dark past. Don't forget
Oh,
that part.
now we have to visit like this person that experienced it before me.
Yep.
Now you know what I mean? There's like 38 movies that go like that.
You just
You're
gave the
always-
whole plot synopsis of The Ring.
Exactly. It is. You're right. Maybe it goes back even further. Maybe it's all just The Ring.
When he started
Yeah.
saying that, that's the first thing I thought of was The Ring.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, but that happens in Sinister. It happens in the Ring. It happens in The Grudge. It happens in
Yeah.
And some of them are great. We just
They
need like
are. I
really
love
good
those
ones,
movies
right?
I just mentioned. Yeah, I love all of them.
But then
Yeah.
there's dozens of copycats. So then when you get something like Terrifier come along and just be like, we're gonna do our own thing. It's
Yeah.
not super lore heavy. It's super gore heavy. And then it's like, oh, this is different. I haven't seen this before.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Stream, so it's the same crew as Terrifier. Damien Leone literally does these special effects for Stream, so
Okay.
it's got some gore. But this one really focuses on like it's heavy on the story. It's actually got a story.
Okay.
And
yeah.
we were
check it
talking,
out.
Ian and I were talking earlier, like most movies that have or they market like all these horror legends in a movie, like we can talk about the movie now. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the one with Kane Hodder, Robert England. What's it called, Ian?
I remembered it earlier. Now I'm gonna forget it.
It was marketed as The Expendables as horror.
Yeah.
I've been dying to make that myself for a long
I know
time.
we've actually like used that term before. Like, oh, it makes the Expendables a horror.
Right,
But
yeah.
most times movies have all those characters. Like it doesn't end up being very good. Like they just use those characters to market with and have them in there for like maybe 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But they have like every cameo you can think of in this one, but they're actual characters. Like Tony Todd's in this. Who's the Jeffrey Combs is in it.
Oh yeah.
Dee
Yeah.
Wallace,
Okay.
the chick from Halloween 5.
Danielle Harris.
Daniel Harris.
Daniel
yeah.
Harris.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
people.
just unlimited.
Wow.
I can't even
I'll
think
have
of
to check
one.
it out.
Tim Curry's fucking in it.
Oh shit!
Oh wow.
Wow!
Tim Curry has a cameo in it, and they didn't market any of the cameos or anything.
Wow, that's cool.
And it ended up being like a solid fucking movie.
Hell yeah, let's check it out.
This is
Oh,
this
yeah.
is still Stream we're talking about, or this is a different
Yeah,
one?
yeah, straight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stream. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Oh, yeah.
So the Expendables of horror was called Death House,
Yes, that's what it was.
and it was
Yes.
not even close to what it should have been.
I'll avoid
I
that.
remember that. It was like around 2016, 2017, right?
2017,
okay.
yeah.
Death
Okay.
House. Okay. Okay.
I was so hyped for it too.
So was
Yeah.
I.
Oh man. Yeah,
I think
those
I
guys you can get them for a day if you just got some money, you know.
Mm.
We had Bill Moseley in Sin Eater. He was out for a day.
Oh, Bill
That was-
Moseley's in Sin Eater?
Yeah, we had him out. It was cool working with him.
Bill Moseley is Ian's favorite.
Oh yeah, he's really
Yeah.
nice.
He's-
We've actually kept in touch. Carmel's met up with him like a handful of times when he's been coming through Chicago.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Carmelo, Bill Moseley's going to be at Days of the Dead as well.
Oh, neat. Yeah,
Oh,
then
there you
I
go.
probably will be there. Yeah, we usually grab breakfast or something while he's in town one of the days that he's around, and he's really nice. And we've already talked to his agent about our next movie, so I think we're gonna get him back too for next time.
Fuck yeah. Is there anything you can talk about for your next movie right now?
Oh, sure, yeah. So it's called Director's Cut, and it's a period.
Wait, you guys are the one doing director's cut?
Is there a different one you heard of?
Well, there's another one called director's cut that's about like a metal band shooting a music video.
Oh no,
Oh,
it's
no.
not that.
No,
Maybe we'll
okay.
have to change the title.
Yeah, I don't know.
Working title, right?
Working title. Yeah, Director's Cut is a 80s period piece
Okay.
slasher movie. It's going to be a meta slasher
Yeah.
about a director on a low budget horror movie who realizes he can get the effects he needs if he kills his actors for real. So that's
I love it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
I want to
So-
move away from the paranormal stuff for a little bit, and I love slashers. I want to do a slasher. And I want to do like something that's like a love letter to slashers. That's why it's a
Yeah.
period. Like,
Yeah.
cell phones really fucked up the whole slasher genre. So like,
They really did.
just go back in time, no cell phones, you know, and get that cabin in the woods vibe going.
Yeah.
I thought that You're Next was one that really fixed that trope when all the killers had like the cell phone blockers.
Yes,
Mm,
yes.
mhm.
That's something I really appreciate about You're Next. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite home invasion movies.
I need to revisit that. It's been a long time. Oh.
It's a
Actually,
good-
Erin's my favorite final girl of all time.
Same.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Check
neat.
that out. Okay. Oh.
So with an 80s slasher, what level of gore can we expect?
That's a good question, and I think it's going to have to be pretty high. I think like
Yes.
to stand apart with the slashers, it's got to be pretty gory.
You're gonna be wincing at your own film.
I
You're not a
will.
gore guy.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to watch my own
Well,
thing.
just let Joe loose, and I think he's just gonna. If
Oh,
you just do that, there'll
It's-
just be some
That-
nasty ass
That
shit
would be
going
great marketing though, because you know how every movie is like the most disgusting movie ever, and everyone
Yeah.
walked out and everyone threw up. Yours could be this movie made its own director walk out.
Right.
That would be
That's what's
perfect.
gonna happen.
That would be perfect.
So our whole for all of Name the Demon, like Joe could have done 10 times the effects that we used. And a lot of it I was trying to keep kind of real. Like he kept trying to pitch me on a fantastic bit. He's like, I've been wanting to do this for a while. This is the movie. I can make her throw up her own intestines. And I was like, that's fucking righteous. But it was going for realistic. And it's like, well, once she starts throwing up her own intestines, we're in a different kind of movie. And so I kept holding him back to make it, I was like, no, I'll keep it grounded. And this one, I'm going to be like, Joe, follow your heart. Let your passion free. The world is your canvas. Go for it.
That's awesome.
I'm hyped already.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to market the fuck out of this for you guys.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank
We'll
you.
let you
And
know.
you'll be in it. Yeah, you're gonna be in
Yeah,
it.
you can come die.
Tell
We don't know.
Joe he can do whatever the fuck he wants to me.
This man right here said you could split him from nut to ass. So
Yeah, you'll have
I'm
to get. We
hyped.
We don't know where we're shooting it yet. Maybe Chicago, maybe Arkansas. We'll see what the tax credit's like.
Either way, I'll buy a plane
Yeah,
ticket if I
let
need
us know.
to. I'm there.
Hell yeah.
Just
Hell yeah.
write in a little role for two podcasters that are coming somewhere to die.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
be there.
Easily done.
Yeah, Mike's gonna be there too. I fucking love Mike. Mike from the Horror Junkie. Shout out to Mike. I fucking love that dude.
He's great.
But also one of our favorite questions that we ask every director, actor we have on here. So we'll start with you, Carmelo. If you had an unlimited amount of money, the rights to anything, what is a movie that you would remake, or if you would add another sequel to?
Wow.
Man, oh geez. Golly. I there's not a lot I would if I was gonna remake something, it would have to be something that sucked because like I heard they're remaking American Psycho. And I'm like, what even is that?
What?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That still holds up.
Yeah,
it's-
I love American
It's
Psycho.
amazing. It's the movie's a masterpiece. Danny and I quoted to each other all the
Oh
time.
yeah, it's one of my it's in my top 10.
I
Yeah.
think it would be I would like to take a stab at a sequel to The Exorcist. I would have done that. I think Believer was one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. I'm so thrilled Mike Flanagan is doing the next one.
Yeah.
because now I have hope again. And I would not remake The Exorcist. I would do a sequel or another movie in that universe. Honestly, that's what I would do. I would remake Exorcist 2 because that
Okay.
should have been
Ugh,
the
so
Godfather
bad
2
as well.
horror. Oh, it's like it's one of the worst.
So
horror
fucking bad.
and it should have been The Godfather 2, where it's like, oh my God, it's even better than the original. And you've got this story where like it's flashing back and forth from Michael Corleone in the present to his dad Vito coming up. You know, that's what it should have been, is like the present should have had an exorcism and it should have been flashbacking. And they tried that and it just sucked and it was boring, it was dumb. And like I would remake Exorcist 2. That's what I would do.
My other hot take is my favorite Exorcist is Exorcist 3.
Exorcist 3 rock.
I love it.
Amazing.
I think it's generally loved though. Do you have people that disagree with you?
Just because The Exorcist, like they don't say it's a bad movie, but just because
Yeah.
The Exorcist is so beloved.
Oh,
And
so
I
you
say
like
that
three you like three more than one.
I don't think it's a better movie. I just personally prefer it.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
just
Exorcist
watching
three's fantastic.
That's reasonable. I like 3. Yeah.
3 is amazing. I was watching the 101 Scariest Movie Moments on Shudder, which was a great series they did.
Yeah.
And Exorcist 3 is like, I think it's in the top 10. If not, it's like number 11.
Yeah.
And one of the commentators said something like, it's like going into a strip mall and finding like a world-class sushi restaurant in the middle of some strip mall next to like the 7-Eleven. It's like, that's exactly what it is. You're like, Exorcist 3, after that second one, how good could it be? You're like, no, it fucking rocks. And George C. Scott is just doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying I like Beginning. I like the beginning a lot.
Yeah,
The
beginning.
Exorcist, the beginning with
Beginning was
Stellan
good.
Skarsgård. The Dominion was sort of a piece of shit, but and that was weird how they sort of like quasi made them together. But Beginning, I liked it.
When I got The Exorcist 3 as like a birthday present, like DVD when I was like maybe 11 or 12, when I was first really, really getting into horror. So I had no idea like it was like more of a slasher than anything. But that hedge clipper scene scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
It's that scene is fucking great. It's
Because I had like one of the box TVs in my room. It was like 34-inch box TV, and I would like sit like on my floor and just watch horror movies and movies. And that scene, like I ran out of my room.
It's still one of the best jump scares ever.
Yeah,
It
we actually wanted to replicate it slightly in our film Sin Eater, and I don't know how more clearly Carmelo could have communicated this to the entire camera department and the editor, and it didn't quite happen.
yeah, it just did
Like,
not.
watch this scene. This is the kind of zoom in we want. This is the kind of this, and it's like sort of there, but not nearly. Like we're like
Yeah.
we just have to give up. Like I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to,
gotta
I want to
start
tell these
focusing.
fucking people.
All right, Danny, how about you? What's a movie you would remake or add a sequel onto?
Oh man. Add a sequel. I think that Evil Dead 2013 deserves like a sequel to that. I know Evil Dead Rise came out, and it's sort of completely different.
I
And
need
Evil
more
Dead
Jane
Rise,
Levy.
yeah, I want Jane Levy back. The Abomination. I want more of that, I just wanted to branch off of that. Evil Dead Rise I thought it was pretty good. Like there's some haters on it, but I actually think it just wasn't, when you come so hard out the gates with 2013, and then
Mhm.
you have these anticipations for maybe a follow up. But then when Fede Alvarez is involved, and so I want to see Fede Alvarez do an Evil Dead 2013 sequel.
Yes.
It's probably not going to happen now, because now
You can
there's
co-direct
Rise.
it with him.
Yeah. And I already saw that. I already read a little blurb somewhere that they have another director already making possibly another Evil Dead. So
There's two Evil Deads in the works right now.
okay.
One of them is being made by Francis Galuppi, who did The Last Stop in Yuma County, which was a fantastic movie.
Okay.
And then the other, I can't remember, something Vanacek. He did the movie Infested about the spiders.
He's the one. That's the blurb I saw.
He's
Yeah.
he's the other one doing Evil Dead movie.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
we have two
so
coming.
we probably lost all hope of Fede Alvarez doing another one, but I don't know. You never know. That's what I would want, though. I want to see it before I die.
Yeah, I need a Jane Levy Evil Dead sequel.
Yeah. She was so good.
Amazing.
I've pushed for future films. I'm like, we should get Jane Levy for something, but I don't know. Now she does like popular sitcoms and stuff, or she did for a while.
Dude, that's really funny because one of my friends, he directed, funny enough, another exorcism movie, but it's not like an exorcism movie at all. It's called Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism.
Oh,
That one's on Tubi. It's one of the most powerful films I've ever seen.
dang.
But he
Check it
got
out.
he got blown up from like this movie, like it blew him up, and he got picked up by a studio with a movie that's like a budget of $10 million, and he wanted Jane Levy for the lead, but they told him that that's not enough star power to bring in.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't think it would be either. We've been dealing with a lot of that too on
But
our end.
us fans like that,
I know,
that's
we
like
would.
the biggest thing.
We want to see it, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, to be honest, like I said, we were a part of some very much larger projects, like what you just mentioned, and yeah, I don't know that there's any single name in the horror genre that would get you any kind of budget like that. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
We've
It
actually been
sucks.
talking to Lily Sullivan about two movies, but
Yeah.
even the problem with most of the traditional funding models for films is that they require you to have, to be frank, a single white male lead anchoring actor. That's whether or not they're the lead or not, as long as they've got some presence in the movie, about 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, they have to drive the plot so that you can put them on a poster without it being a cameo. And so if you want to know a movie that does this model exactly, is Arcadia, that one that just came out with
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
produced by friends of Danny's and mine. And it was the exact model. They had Nicolas Cage probably for a week. If you watch it, you'll note that he sits out 2 acts of the movie, and they find a way to keep him in it without him being in it. And he's still important to the plot, though. And it's enough to put him on the poster. And that was what got that, then you pre-sell it against that actor. There's no actress that we are aware of that's not an absolute A-lister. Scarlett Johansson, sure. Other than that, there's no other actresses that would get a movie funded like that. And it's also a racist thing too. It's like it's just the white actors. It's kind of a slow industry, and it's because it's exclusively based on historical box office performance. So even if you got a big name who's in television, if they weren't in a movie, does not translate to sales value. You can package a film with more than one actor, and that's when like the Lily Sullivans or the Jane Levy's or some of the great minority actors out there will make a movie more appealing to the audience, but to the sales companies on whom you're funding your movie, they do not give a shit. They do not.
I've never thought of it that way before.
It's so unfortunate. So this is Carmelo and I have been caught up in this for like the last 2 years in between Sin Eater and after making this, we were like, oh, let's go make like Carmelo has all this funding power through some partners, and I have a lot of producer connections through some of the films I've been a part of in the last couple of years, and we're like, yeah, I think we get it done. And yeah, dude, the things we're running into, it's like We don't give a shit about your script. We don't give a shit about blah blah blah. Who's the sales value? Like, who's the actor? And we're like, this person, and they're like, no, there was nothing. And we're like, okay. You know,
Yep.
it's just nuts. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Hence,
Super crazy.
we want to make our own films again, like Terrifier, and like we did with Name the Demon, but it was obviously lower budget, and we'll do again next year. So yeah, it's
So
crazy.
I am beyond excited for director's cut now.
Thank
Also,
you. I appreciate that. It's gonna be fun. I'm finishing the script this weekend, actually. So
Any press stuff when it starts getting ready, send it to Ian and I, and we will push that shit out.
oh yeah, guys, we appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're both huge fans of independent films, independent horror films. So yeah, anything that we can do to help get the name out, any kind of press like that, we're all about it.
I give a lot of money to Indiegogos as well. Like when I see something I'm really interested in.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we're going to do our Kickstarter for Name the Demon's Blu-ray release.
Yeah, I need a physical copy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm a physical media guy myself, and it's great that it's streaming, but we even have a deal in place for over like 40 online retailers to carry the Blu-ray once we got it. So, it's the kind of thing where I love Kickstarter because if people want it, it gets made. If people don't care, it doesn't get made. But we'll do the Blu-ray and as a special like Kickstarter only thing, we're even going to do VHS copies of it as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and the we were just talking about today actually. Carmelo actually, we hadn't met him in time for him to be a part of She Walks the Woods until he ran the Kickstarter for us after the fact for its Blu-ray release, and that he was just knocked it out of the park. Because Carmelo, you've like historically ran Kickstarter campaigns for other people, like
Yeah,
and
I've
such.
run 9 different campaigns. I've probably raised, I don't know, $200,000 or $300,000.
Sure. And so we're gonna do something similar where we have this Blu-ray. Once the Blu-ray release happens, it'll be available just at a basic level. Like you can go buy it online at Target or something like that. But you're just gonna get like that generic cover art with the Blu-ray, But for the Kickstarter backers, like specifically, we're coming up with all these. We're gonna have like a hard case magnetic flap, Blu-ray with like a special cover art and all this shit that's on it. So it's gonna be
I'm
a
sold.
cool release. Yeah, it'll
I'm
be
sold.
cool. We're looking for we're looking through some artists right now to have like that cool like hand drawn art and all that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be. I think you're launching it like in a couple weeks, right, Carmelo? The campaign.
October 29th. I didn't announce it. I was going to announce it on Monday, but I'll just announce it here. October 29th, we're going to start the Kickstarter. So.
Okay. Well, you guys probably won't really. I don't know when you're
Yeah,
releasing
this will come out in 2 weeks. So
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Then then go to Kickstarter right now and
Yeah.
get your Blu-ray copy of Name the Demon. And if you really hate physical media, leave us a review on Amazon because that helps us a lot.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So before we wrap it up here, two more questions for you here, primarily for Carmelo. We asked your favorite horror movies, but what's a favorite of yours that is like a hidden gem or that you find underrated that not enough people know about?
Good question. A hidden gem horror movie. That's a good question. A hidden gem horror movie or just hidden gem movie?
Horror movie.
I mean, I think, and Danny and I talk about this. I almost don't know how hidden it is because of how much Danny and I like it. But Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie. What a great fucking movie that deserves sequels. I mean, just awesome. Great cast, great conceit, great execution. There's a movie that has your Robert Englund in it and and the woman from Poltergeist, but they're used expertly. They're not just stupid cameos. They're perfectly used. It's scary, it's funny, it's self-aware, it's not too intellectual like the kind of bullshit I would make. It's like something that's actually relatable. So I think that's a great hidden gem.
Yeah, Behind the Mask is amazing, and it actually turns into a pretty fucking serious movie at the end.
It does.
Yeah, in fact, my favorite part of the whole movie is after it turns into a scary movie and it stops being funny. One of the cameramen tries to reason with Leslie Vernon, and he's like, "Come on, man, we're friends, right?" Like he's even trying to peel his mask off, and he's just cold as ice and chokes him to death. And that is fucking hardcore. That's horror right there.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, I'm still so bummed we never got a sequel to it.
I don't know. Danny and I even talked once about
We
emailing the producers.
So funny. This movie's come up like a few times lately because we talked about it first where you were like, maybe we get a hold of because there was a script written for the sequel, right? But it was never
Yeah, and
made.
then they did a comic book too. Yeah.
And they did a comic book, and you're like, maybe we can get a hold of that and like make it. And then I was talking to someone else, I don't know, it was a different podcast, and they're like, oh yeah, I know the guy, like he's real talkative, like you could probably
Well, if anyone knows them, yeah, they ran an unsuccessful Kickstarter to do a sequel, I think is what happened. So if anyone knows them, tell them to hit me up. I will get their movie funded, and I will direct Behind the Mask too. That sounds fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Need to see it. But yeah, before we end it then, Danny and Carmelo, if you want to put out your social media links, where people can find you, find your movies, let us know all that information.
Yeah, just find me on IMDb. You want to check out any of my other films. I've done we've had these films we've done together, these self-released horror films, a few of them. But then I've done some other films that, have decent roles in that I enjoyed, a couple westerns and things like that. So worked with some awesome people. And then you can find both of us at on the Cult Classic Horror Show at Cult Classic Horror on everything. And anywhere you stream podcasts, you can look at the Cult Classic Horror Show. We just talk about, it's usually when we're being good, it's bi-weekly, and we pick a movie and just really dig behind the scenes on it, let you know how it was made and any little stories behind it or whatever we can dig up on it. And I think that's it. Yeah, go ahead, Carmel.
Yeah, I've got Chimera Studios on Facebook and Instagram is probably the best way to keep up with our film projects. Or you can find me, Carmelo Chimera. My comic projects are under Chimera's Comics on both as well. I have a graphic novel on Kickstarter right now called Pots and Panels. That's a comic book and cookbook anthology. There's over 80 different, some very famous comic creators, like way more famous in comics land than I am, on this book. So that's very exciting. And then, of course, Name the Demons on Kickstarter now. And then just stay tuned because we'll make sure everybody hears about director's cut when we're casting and shooting, and we'll do a better job of keeping people up to date as the movie is being produced, and not just hit you with it by surprise in 2 years when it's done.
I don't know if you're joking, but the only thing that you have said that would throw us off from director's cut is January's numbers coming in from Name the Demon supporting a sequel.
That's true, and I never contemplated which, as a fan of movies, always drove me crazy when the creators were like, "Oh, I didn't think about a sequel," and it's like, don't you know how much a sequel would have meant to me for this movie? But I really didn't think about it until we were at the premiere in Chicago, and then now it's been coming up. People keep asking me like, "Well, what's the next Name the Demon movie?" And so if the numbers are really good and everything comes back well, and it's starting to look like it might, I could see pivoting to Name the Demon 2. And I do have an idea for the sequel. I've got it basically blocked out in my head, and it will be scarier than this one, I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here for it.
Regardless if it's Name the Demon 2 or it's director's cut, we're here for it. So
hell yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Colby, anything to add?
Don't forget to go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and give us a review. Let us know what you think of the show.
And Danny and Carmela, thanks again, man, for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to your upcoming projects.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys.
So everyone watching, listening, thank you all for everything you do. We'll see you next week. Stay safe out there.
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you.
There you go. That's it.